Full screen.
What's going on, New Game Order? This is alexlexus, aka the Juggernaut Bitch, and J Juggernaut, hitting you with some news. I just want to make a couple of announcements. Nelson and I have 2 copies of Street Fighter V that we are doing an online tournament for. He will be hosting this tournament via the Ultra Street Fighter 4. For those of you who don't have the game, I'm kind of reluctant to even mention this because of the nature of the topic that I'm going to be going into. But if you want to enter to win a free copy, again, free, no strings attached. It's a promotional tool for newgamingorder.com. So if you want to participate in online tournament that will be having streams on the twitch.com/newgamingorder or Nelson's page, which I'll have a link to the description below, you can enter to win a free copy of Street Fighter V. Okay, so stay tuned for details with that. Hopefully they can resolve some issues with this server stuff. But I wanted to talk about the failure of a launch that is Street Fighter V. Now, many of you know that it's not old news. I was just listening to saltygamers.com, aka Michael Hurdle's video on, he was trying to get some matches in. He spent like, 27 minutes, couldn't get a match. A couple people, like if you're playing in survival mode, I mean, there's so many layers to what's going on with Street Fighter V that I'm trying not to be scattered, and I don't have my notes with me. But I'm going to start, the fight money and the experience. It's all server controlled. Now, at first, me and Shinwar were like, what the hell? You can't accrue fight money. Like, it's like the game forces you to be online all the time, right? To accrue anything. Now, if Capcom's controlling your fight money, they can go in and wipe it out and do this and that. I mean, that's a little too much control over something that I'm using. But I understand that with certain hackers, all the stuff with the DLC is tied into the fight money. It's tied into, online profiles and things of that nature. So if for some reason somebody were to hack the fight money and have infinite fight money, they will unlock all the characters. So I guess that was a response to fear of something potentially like that happening. Look at what happened with the Chinese company who trolled Denuvo, saying that, oh, we can't crack it, and all of a sudden there's articles floating around that Denuvo has been cracked. So hackers, where there's a will, there's a way, but it also screws some people because they take desperate measures and put these things into place where now we don't have control over what we give $60 for. Number one. Number two, this stuff, the interruption where if, for instance, example, Shinwar and I were playing survival mode, and I got to like level 30 or 40 something. Like, yeah, I think I was fighting Nakali, because Nakali is like the boss of every 10th. So if you go to 10, 20, 30, you'll fight Nakali, and I guess he's harder each time. But if you're fighting, like, okay, I was fighting Nakali, and I was about to land that finishing blow, disconnected from the server, and completely ruin my progress. If you get disconnected from the server, it should be, and hopefully Capcom, Peter Rojas, all these other folks, Matt Delgren, take this feedback, guys. If you see this video, if there's a way to patch the game where if you're playing survival mode anything that's an offline related mode, don't have it abruptly cut you off, especially if they're like within grasp of achieving something, disconnected from server. You're like, what the hell? I don't know if it was on my stream, but I had like 2 streams with about like 2.5, 3 hours each. So I know somewhere in there something like that happened. And I'm sitting here like, are you serious? I gotta do this all over again? Feels like the Nintendo era, where if you didn't have a password or you're playing Ninja Gaiden, you get so far in something really difficult and then you have to start from the beginning. You're not gonna want to do it again. So I think that needs to be revisited. I understand about the fight money being server controlled, but it sucks. It sucks because you can't really do anything. And Shinwar had made a suggestion, who's our staff member, stating that, okay, if there's a fear of fight money getting hacked or there's XP getting hacked, whatever you do, like the legitimate stuff, if you're accruing stuff and then you get online, that data should be saved locally, uploaded, and then it should convert and then still give you the credit for what you did offline. I don't know if that's hard to do. I know there was another game that did just that. I'm gonna pull that up. I played it. I can't remember. I'm getting old now, so I'm like forgetting this stuff. But yeah, whatever you do offline will be prorated or credited to you once you do log into the server. So maybe that's something to look at. As far as the stress test, did the stress test even do anything? It's this is kind of reminiscent of what happened in the first beta, where it was like taking forever to get a match. Then they shut down the servers, they fix it. Then you were getting matches. And, through all 4 phases of the beta, did they anticipate these issues? I mean, the pre-orders, that's one thing. Those pre-order numbers should have been submitted up to the higher up at Capcom and make the servers able to cover double or triple the capacity of that just in case. Just in case. Now this stuff doesn't even work. The beta, the beta 3. Beta 3 performed a lot better than this. And this is the full game. The full game. It just baffles my mind. Now, I was also talking to Nelson, my partner in crime. He said, well, Killer Instinct had issues too. Killer Instinct's issue was different. They had the DRM check-in thing that was later patched out. Granted, Killer Instinct is not without its flaws, but that's what happens when you have it constantly talking to a server, you know what I mean? And yeah, that DRM thing was the issue for Killer Instinct when it first came out. Now, I didn't have access to it firsthand because I was still in Afghanistan. All right, so I know that I didn't experience that right off the bat, but I know once that was fixed, it's not a game that's covering and I don't understand. The system was in place in Street Fighter 4 and it worked. I get that they're trying to build this fighting game infrastructure and, with the cross play and everything. It just... Capcom, Sony's bankrolling y'all. How come this wasn't working? You have Sony money. Sony helped you make this game or funded you to make this game to your vision. Now, I know that Shinwara and I were talking. Maybe it explains a lot. I'm probably going to save that for the podcast because that's probably going to incite some issues or disagreement. But this explains a little bit why it's not on competitors' consoles, so to speak, whether it be Nintendo or Microsoft. But there's a lot, and now I'm beginning to see it. It's starting to make sense, where it's like this server thing, it's like, wow. Man, I cringe because I gave up. I purchased the game 3 times, knowing that one would be like, okay, I would have my PC, I would have the disc version and Steam, but the disc version is for the giveaway. So I invest in our show, but man, they just ooh. And then I already spoke about how the fighters' IDs should be universal. I should be able to log into alexlexus on the PC and log into alexlexus on my PlayStation. Now I have alexlexus 2000 on the PSN and alexlexus on the PC. And it's like, what the, like, really? Really? There's the only fun thing I can do with that is I can have somebody, like maybe my cousin, play my PSN, and then me play the PC, and maybe we can play each other or something like. But then again, doing the Battle Lounge doesn't even work. And here's the funny thing: Battle Lounge worked when me and Shinwar had early access. Shout outs to the mom and pop store that was out in New York that we got the intel from. That day, that afternoon, we went on and we played each other online. That day. So obviously it's a traffic issue. There's just too many people jumping in there trying to play. It's only been not even a week yet. So granted, to be fair, let's see what they do about this. But making the game server based like this, hopefully any of these topics that I hit, let me know what you think. And shout out to Black Dragon 79. He sent me a trade-in value from GameStop for Street Fighter V, brand new. You purchased the game for $60, and God forbid that you purchase the season pass, but $60, right? If you trade it in, it's $21 in pristine condition. And if you're a power-up member with GameStop, you get like 23 or 27. I don't want to lie. I'll get the picture that he sent to my cell phone. But yikes, Capcom! Yikes! I get that companies do stumble, they do fall, but why do we fall? So we learn to get back up. Batman, Christopher Nolan verse, but. How many times does Capcom have to stumble and fall to get this stuff right? Cross Tekken, to me, almost ruined that company, man. Look at some of the stuff they had to do to kind of, bounce back. You know what I mean? And now, your flagship game, your flagship Street Fighter right now, and I'm not talking about Mega Man. We know had it not been for Inafune, Mega Man, Capcom wouldn't be the company they are now. But in recent history, we know that Street Fighter keeps this company afloat. And with that, you look. Oh, you know what? I take that back, because Capcom is more than just Street Fighter. But Street Fighter for our community is a big deal. It's a big freaking deal. Their flagship fighter, the godfather of fighting games, and you fucked it up. Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I have to be respectable in my workplace. I can't cuss and do stuff. Like, I wanted to go in like Michael Hurdle was doing on Salty Gamers. And he had the video in the background showing everything. He could not get a game. You know what I mean? But all the memes going out and all that, keep them coming. Because at least we know that Capcom have no choice but to listen. And I feel bad for Ono, because he's the producer. He's the director. He can't. Unless he calls all of the shots, I can't hold him completely responsible. You got to look at, when this guy is trying to do certain things, he has to run things through approval, and whoever has a genius idea for a fighting game to be kind of like Destiny or MMO, where it's a server, got to stop and think. If you do that, you're going to drive down the value of the game in the long term. People are going to be like, oh, yeah, can I trade this in? And it's probably going to get like $5 to $10. They don't care because they got our money. We fell for it again. Capcom didn't even spit on it and shoved it right up the fighting game community's asses. But I would say Guilty Gear, Mortal Kombat, freaking Dead or Alive, all these other fighters, Killer Instinct, the games work. they work. No ifs, ands, or buts. This has been alexlexus. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on newgamingorder.com. And shout out to our partner, Fullscreen, for helping us make this possible. This is the Juggernaut. I don't even want to hit nobody with the head crush because Capcom freaking got me like doing like Mortal Kombat. Remember back in the day when they're like finish him, they're like Scorpion. Oh man, I don't know. Capcom, 2 words for you. Fix it.